An investigative journalist moves into a secluded, brutalist concrete apartment on the city's edge. The rent is impossibly low, and the previous tenant left everything behind, including a half-eaten meal and a journal filled with frantic, illegible scribbles. He laughs at the luck of finding such a cheap, spacious sanctuary. During the first night, the silence is heavy, pressing against his eardrums like deep water pressure. He sets up his laptop near the floor-to-ceiling window. The glass reflects his tired face, but for a split second, he thinks he sees a tall, pale shape standing in the far corner. The journal contains a recurring phrase, "It only moves when you blink." He dismisses it as the ramblings of a broken mind. However, he notices his furniture seems an inch closer to his bed every morning. The heavy oak desk is now blocking the path to the hallway. A foul, copper scent begins to permeate the air. He checks the vents and the pipes, but finds nothing. At 3 a.m., he wakes to the sound of wet, rhythmic slapping against the hallway floor. When he turns on the light, the sound stops instantly. The air feels freezing. He installs motion-activated cameras throughout the small apartment. The first night of footage shows nothing but static. The second night, the camera in the kitchen captures a thin, gray hand reaching from the ceiling, slowly unscrewing the light bulbs one by one until the frame goes completely black. He tries to leave, but the front door won't budge, as if held by a vacuum. The windows, once transparent, are now coated in a thick, black grime from the outside. He is trapped in a concrete box. He realizes the low rent was actually a bounty for his life. Sleep becomes impossible. Every time his eyelids heavy, he hears a raspy, inhaled breath right against the back of his neck. He spends hours staring into the darkness, his eyes stinging and bloodshot, terrified that a single blink will be his last moment of safety. The mirrors in the bathroom no longer show his reflection. Instead, they show the room as it was decades ago, filled with people who look just like him, all staring at the corner of the ceiling with expressions of pure, unadulterated horizontal terror. Their mouths are sewn shut. He finds a hidden crawl space behind the wardrobe. Inside are hundreds of Polaroids of him sleeping, taken from angles that should be impossible. Some photos show a figure with elongated limbs crouching over his chest, its face a featureless void of smooth, wet skin and darkness. His mental grip fractures. He begins to see the figure in broad daylight, standing in the periphery of his vision. It mimics his movements perfectly, a silent, mocking shadow. When he reaches out to touch the wall, the shadow's hand is already there, waiting for him. The walls begin to bleed a thick, oily substance. The floorboards groan under a weight that isn't his. He realizes the apartment isn't haunted by a ghost. The building itself is a living organism, and he is the slow-digesting meal trapped inside its concrete stomach. He finds the previous tenant's final journal entry under the floorboards. It simply says, "Don't look at the ceiling." Naturally, his instincts betray him. He slowly tilts his head upward. Thousands of pale, lidless eyes are embedded in the concrete, all blinking in perfect, horrific unison. The shadow figure finally steps into the light. It has no face, only a vertical slit that opens to reveal rows of needle-like teeth. It doesn't attack. It simply stands there, vibrating with a low frequency that makes his teeth ache and his fingernails begin to peel. He realizes the figure is him, or what he is becoming. His skin starts to turn the same dull, concrete gray. His eyes fuse open, the muscles locking in place. He is being transformed into a permanent fixture of the room, another silent observer for the next tenant. The front door finally clicks open. A new, young woman stands there with her suitcases, smiling at the lucky find. She walks past the statue in the corner, noticing its incredibly realistic, tear-filled eyes. She thinks it's a quirky piece of art left by the landlord. Moral of the story: obsession with the perfect deal often blinds us to the hidden costs of our environment. Sometimes the things we think we own are actually the things that own us.